To start off with the Coinbase legend, yeah, not really too much to say on here apart from there's apparently, I'm going to start have to using words like this. Apparently, there's a couple big short orders around 114k, just at that wick high. These orders that got put in just after the dump have already been pulled, and it's literally coincided with when we started to pump. So look, when the orders got pulled right here was literally the bottom candle. So that's obviously clear manipulation on the price. Like they just put in loads of those orders. People thought we were going to go down more, and we even broke the node actually. So we got the volume node here. We even broke this. Can I put a box on, please? We even broke this volume node and then immediately just reversed. So interesting. Apart from that, nothing really more to say. Nothing really else to say on that. Long to short coming down apparently, and this is retail on the top. So yeah, we've looked like we've hit a peak actually in the long short, and we are coming back down towards 50-50, which is interesting to see as we are potentially breaking up out of the price. All in all, on Binance, the long to short ratio is sitting at, let me just go to the hourly so we have the most up-to-date data. 61% long at the moment, only on Binance, by the way, apparently. So yeah, apart from that, liquidations, estimated liquidations, sitting at, let me just go to the really local stuff. Down below us at like 106, and then up above us there's a little bit just above that wick that we just did, and I think it was 115 as well. So 115 is going to be interesting resistance, whereas 106 the downside as well, where the max pain is. Some of it does line up though, which is weird, which is why it can't be all like it can't be like all fake. It can just be slightly questionable. Because like the long max pain is 105, pretty much 105.9. 106 was high liquidations on this chart. It kind of makes a lot of sense in that sense. But anyway, let's move on. I'll just go to this. So pretty boring week this week. Nothing really too much has happened. I'd say that if we go to the daily of the daily Bitcoin chart, I've got a couple too many things on this chart, but we have had a cross in the Wave Master a while ago, and it is like starting to arc up as well. On the other oscillator here as well on the daily, this top one, we did get some bullish divergence coming in a while ago as well when we got that cross. So literally on the same candle, flash bullish divergence when we crossed as well. So interesting to see that. I would say that, you know, we still on the daily we still do have a lower low, and we don't yet have a high. So unfortunately, we are still kind of in this like weird area of like kind of down. But it's starting to look potentially quite good, especially if we can gain sort of like above this high. And in general, I'm still kind of looking to go and test the 786 from this whole move, where there are going to be a lot of shorts like up here around the highs, especially around the 886. To the downside, we do have some interesting stuff. So this is what I mean when I'm saying like the data, it can't all be fake, because you can see on the MDX, well, I guess it all could be fake and it could all be the same, I guess, now that I'm realizing it. So we do have like this liquidation pocket at about like 106.4 and down like just below 106, which kind of lines up with the long max pain, kind of lines up with all that other stuff like the liquidations and stuff as well on the CoinEx. So maybe they're just all wrong and they're all pulling it from the same thing. But yeah, that would be interesting as well. But right now, above the weekly open, it's looking not too bad. It's just kind of going sideways. We did get that nice move after we gained the weekly open, and we just bullishly backtested it quickly on the hourly, but it wasn't really so clear. So kind of just going sideways. A little bit of a boring week, to be honest. Packs not doing too well. Yeah, been stopped out on my trade because we've just lost that daily open now. We've lost this area. This is what I wanted to hold. This wick. This candle was my hold candle, and yeah, we just dumped through it on this one. So very, very minor loss there. And yeah, I'm just really not going to be doing anything on it. That was just a little scalp up to the weekly open potentially, and yeah, it's just been stopped for a very, very small loss.
Yo, Jack, you still showing legend board?
Oh, am
Or
I? Damn.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Sorry, I was away for a second.
I only switched it on my recording. My bad. Anyway, let me just quickly go over that. I was just saying this top oscillator has shown some bullish divergence at the same time as we got the daily cross all the way back here, and but in general we're still kind of in this like weird downtrend because we do have a low there. Although this is tested and very, very locally, we are actually gaining above this now on the daily. So we do have this higher low there, and we are making a higher high. It's still, you know, it still leaves a little bit to be desired. I think we're just gonna go sideways for a little bit in between like the Q, in between there and this low. I feel like we're just gonna be in this range for a bit because after such a big dump, like this is obviously gonna be the range high. This is going to be the range low now after we said that we wanted to fill the wick. And so, yeah, I can just see this being the range highs and this being the range lows for a while. Well, not for a while, for a little bit. And then, yeah, just quickly talked about the PAX G, which probably netted me a 0.4 to 0.5% loss, which is nothing crazy at all. So yeah, apart from that, let me just take that off. Sorry, that's my bad. I left it on coin glass, guys. Apart from that, again, ETH kind of looks exactly the same on the 4 hour. It is going completely sideways as of right now. We do have this like new higher high, and we have actually defended the low. So, like, very, very micro analyzing this. This is a higher high, and this is a higher low. So in the micro trend, we are like tentatively trending up, but it doesn't look that great right now. And the daily is still kind of struggling, and it looks like to be in some sort of like descending triangle. Now, the only thing that I did talk about yesterday, obviously, well, this is we'll just draw like a loose triangle like this. Now, saying that, we do have some bullish divergence and some hidden bull coming on the daily, and we actually have had a cross bullish divergence on the retail stablecoin demand, and we are kind of starting to arc up now. So that is one thing that is going for it. But yeah, I would kind of just like to see, you know, a high up here, and then potentially like a higher low on the weekly, and that would break all this like overlapping resistance on the 4 hour, and that would be a lot safer long up to this swing. I am kind of expecting like these swings up here to get hit at some point, like this 4.4, 4.3. like I just don't think that we're not going to hit that if we are going into a bear market. So yeah, again, this week's been a little bit, you're stuck between a rock and a hard place, and it's only natural that the market's going to go completely sideways after such a big event as this. Well, it was a big event on some altcoins, but even on Bitcoin, it was quite quick and nasty. So we're just going sideways, and I believe we have CPI today. So again, questioning how data affects trading and charting and stuff like that, but it is a potential volatility event just to be aware of. I wouldn't say that you should use the CPI in your trading analysis. I think you should just be aware of the potential volatility that it's going to cause if you're looking at potentially entering a trade today or something. To make a higher underneath, we need to go over a lot of resistance, so I'm very cautious to open long now. I don't really feel like opening short as well. Bro, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes the best trade is no trade at all. And people don't really understand that because they see everyone's trading different time frames, and everyone's trading different strategies and different indicators and stuff like that. And by that metric, there could always be a trade on, potentially. There's always a potential trade on. But sometimes not being in a trade is a trade in itself, because you're completely flat and you're just waiting for better price action or a clearer trade. So just wait for something that you like. Wait for something that you know looks good to trade, and you've traded before, and you're confident in the setup, and you like it, and it ticks a lot of your boxes. And if you're not feeling it, just don't worry about it. Like this week, you could have just went and watched a bunch of Halloween films, or cleaned up your garage, or I don't know, done something random. Ouch. What about knowing there will be volatility event is a big factor? Yeah. Although, listening to Stu recently, I think I've said this to you guys before. When I was in Japan, because the time zone was so bad, I was barely in the Discord. Well, I was in the Discord. I was reading it sometimes, but not as much as I am now. I didn't make it to as many lives. I didn't look at X as much. I didn't look at economic calendar at all for like 2 months. I was simply just trading. I was on Hyperliquid, and I was trading super low leverage, like 886 retraces, or even 4-hour like 886 retraces to 786s, and it actually worked. Like, it worked way better than looking at all this random data, to be honest. Which is why I think Zeus has a point. But then again, I don't think it's all. I think it is kind of worthwhile to. I still was looking at long to short ratio every day back then, to be honest. But I cut out a lot of other things. I was definitely looking at long to short like twice a day. That's what I did look at. My vote on Hyperliquid went from 108 biggest to 74th. Wait, 108 biggest to 74th by having no open trades on October 10th. Yeah, exactly. Because everyone's getting wrecked, bro. Everyone's getting stopped. Everyone's getting wrecked. Sometimes you just gotta go, like, enjoy your life and be like, okay, we got CPI on Friday. We got the monthly close. We got one more week of the month next week, and then monthly close next Monday. There will be good opportunity and volatility soon. I tried to force some scalp longs yesterday, which I have a 50-50 track record with, and got crushed just to wake up to ETH at my long target. Need to get better at it. Yeah, I mean, the problem with that is there's just obviously manipulation and stuff. So then your stop loss can just get pinged, and then it reverses exactly the way that you want. One trick that I actually use to mitigate that is that on one exchange, I'd take a slightly lower position size, and then on my stop, I would go on another exchange and set like a couple orders with the rest of the trade on that stop. So if my stop got hit, it would trigger the other orders, and obviously sometimes the second orders got stopped. But that was still the whole position size. I just split it into 2 trades. And then sometimes my stop on my first exchange would get hit, and it would hit my other orders and then go, and it would kind of like cover me and make me feel a little bit better. So that's actually something, like bidding your stop, something you can try if you're a little bit more experienced. It's a bit of a gung-ho strategy though, bidding your stop. But it's like sometimes your stop is where everyone else is putting their stop, so it's going to get stopped, and then it reverses, so you bid your stop. Anyway, I don't know how accurate that is. But yeah, in general, we'll have a look at Sol. I don't really know if I should keep a lot of this stuff on, but again, this is. Let me take that off. This is also stuck between in a rock and a hard place. So we've defended the low. We had a high, a new high put in, which was actually quite good, and then we made a new low. So what do we have right now? We actually have, it's just going sideways. Like it looks like nothing. If we can take this liquidation up here, I feel like that would be quite nice. And then we might get like a higher low, and then that would be the trade, especially if we have this high leverage stuff still in place when we do that. I think that would be a nice trade. But apart from that, I'm just wholly uninterested right now. In general, like, there's a really good argument to be made for both sides. So obviously we have a lot of people have longed the dump in this area, and we have built up a heavy liquidation pocket below. And likewise, a lot of longs got liquidated in this wick down, and we have a ton more short liquidity to the upside. So, we're just still in that weird sort of like phase where it's just like it could go either way. I'd say on the balance of probabilities, it's more likely that we rip to the upside just because of that. And by that, I don't mean we're going to make new highs. I mean we're going to come up into this area here and take some of that stuff. But, it's not really, I'm not like heavily leaning that way. It'd be more like just slightly. So yeah, apart from that, I think the only trade I'm in right now is per. Saying that. Off the lows. And yeah, hype's actually looking quite decent. We actually have a new high made. We have a higher low, and we have a higher high now. So this is looking pretty good. We're also holding the Q3 right now. We have diverged. We are bearishly diverging slightly. So watch if we lose this level. Let's actually just go to the hourly. If we start breaking sort of like the upside here, so basically making a new low from here, this could actually be a decent snapshot back down to the weekly open. Although it has been tested already, I would just say that it is going to bearishly diverge on the 4 hour from here, and we are in resistance. So yeah, could be a decent little scalp, but apart from that, yeah, nothing really too much to say in the market this week. I think we're gonna have CPI. We're gonna have CPI is gonna come out before Vikings, so yeah, I've been pretty flat this week. I think the only thing that I was annoyed at myself was, I believe I put this BNB chart in the altcoin chat, and I shorted this area, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna set my stop like 1 or 2% above, and it was literally there, and it got stopped out, and then it did that, and I think I was eating or something when it did this bearish retest, because I was looking at it when it dumped below on this candle, and I was like, I'm gonna re-enter, and I just didn't manage to, and then it obviously did that. That's probably the only thing I'm a bit annoyed about, and really, other than that, I've been pretty flat. So yeah, check out the 10-minute and the 6 hour. Okay, the funny part is once we will go up or down, everyone on social will start saying how fucking obvious it was. Yeah, I mean, social media people are the worst to listen to, because they'll just tweet everything and then be like, oh, I got this one right, but they had 9 tweets that were wrong that they've just deleted or something, and they'll just show the one right one or something. So yeah, it's just not really the best place to be. It's good to get kind of like a vibe check on the general market, but yeah, I would really kind of like stay away from it. I go there for the memes personally. If you can't block it out, then I wouldn't recommend going on. 6 hour retail stablecoin demand made a new high, actually coming up to 53, not above 60 yet. Above the midpoint. Let me go back on. Sorry, excuse me. Let me go on Binance. Yeah, definitely in an uptrend since here. Since this little bit. So you can also like trade chart the retail stablecoin demand. So we basically had a higher low, and this was after we diverged. So a lot of the time when we diverge, we get a false move, and then this is when we got the higher low. So when we broke out, and that's when we set the higher high here. So this shenanigans, technically, if we're looking at the retail stablecoin demand and we're expecting it to go up, Bitcoin should potentially grind a little bit up to this high here, which is kind of what we were saying anyway towards the start of this week. But yeah, I'm just not interested. I'm just not interested. Let me look at the 10-minute quickly. So the 10-minute seems to not really the biggest fan. There might be a way that you could automate this to be really good, but I wouldn't recommend it. It's a bit too of a low time frame for me. 10-minute. So yeah, that's about it. Has anyone got anything they would like to talk about, or any specific coin they would like to look at? In general, in this area, if you're like really want to trade, I would stick to lower time frames. So for example, on a HIAB, I'm on the 5-minute right now. We have this higher low, and we have this higher high. So just do a little old classic stew and just be like, okay, if we get down here, I'm going to take a long with a stop in here, and just do that. 1.2% stop. And obviously just use like no more than 5x. Still way to go, but looking on volume profile, there's a huge gap, 114 to 121. Yeah, that's why I don't think, it's just like, yeah, we're just crabbing right now. I do think we are going to go up towards 114, 115, which is heavy resistance at the moment. My 6 hour has 2 hidden bearish divergence. That's on MDX. Let me see, because MDX is going to be different. This is on Bitstamp. It has 1 hidden bearish. This is on Bybit. It has 1 hidden bearish. On Binance, it has a hidden bearish. What was I looking at? Femex. Oh, wait. That didn't come up when I was looking at it. Wait, what was I looking at? Am I tripping, or that did not come up when I just looked at it? I'm not tripping, am I? That was not there before. Interesting. So that would mean that if we are going to go up towards the Q4 and not break this high, that would be a false move, and we're going to continue the trend towards the downside. Especially if this grinds up a little bit more, and then this gets into the overbought area. I think that would be probably move down. And if we get all into this stuff, it's probably just going to grind down into like that stuff down there. So interesting. In Tareson, it's flashing right now. Oh, so did it just print? Did that candle just print? Is that why? No, it's just flashing on and off. But that's already printed. That candle's printed. I don't know. Anyway, what's the time? So no swing fail of the all-time high. I still do think that will happen, but we might just get one. We might get something like this, grinds up, and then back down into the lows, and then we'll either like deviate the lows, like liquidations, and come back, or we might just hold it and then go back up. I still do think in general, like, that's why I'm holding my spot, that potentially like the 786 is going to get hit up above. But then again, you can't be sure of anything. So I'm still going to stick to that theory because I feel like that's the most probable one. Even I think it's more probable that that theory is true if we are going into a bear market as well. Even though Adrian also showed me that there are charts like last bull market, we just bearish retest and sent it down. But after like a liquidation event like that, there's just so much to the upside that the market maker or the exchanges would be like silly to just leave it there and go into a bear market. I just don't believe that they would do that. And everyone will long the top if we get above the all-time high where all the liquidations are. Everyone's going to be like, bull market back on, 150k, 200k. And then it will just top at 130 and be like, okay. But if we break 100, get people to short and then go to the all-time high, we'll be brutal. Because now people are thinking that we either go to all-time high or below 100. It can be both. Exactly. And I was also talking about, I know like we were talking about liquidations, but there is this gap just at 99k. Sorry, if I just go here, there is this little gap right here. And also actually here. So imagine like we get into this and people like see that it's going underneath 100k. They're probably going to start shorting, being like, we're going into a bear market, and then we'll do that. And then there'll be so much stuff to here. And it's the same setup that Stu talked about here at the all-time high. It's the same thing, just to the downside. And it'll probably happen again. It will do that, and then people will be like, bull market back on, and then we'll just do that. It'll be deviation. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we're in a rock and a hard place. Like, there's an argument for both sides, and it's very, very plausible. I'm just thinking, like, largely, there's a really good chance that the 786 is going to get hit either way at some point. It's relative. Like, we might do the move down first and then do it. We might do the move up first and then go for 99. Who knows? Like, that's definitely up for debate.